Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Stephen Carroll and I'm joined by Bloomberg's breaking news editor, Louise Moon. Louise, good morning. Let's start with BP today announcing a major shake-up at the top.
Indeed, yeah, announcing a new CEO, which was quite an unexpected bit of news this morning. So they are replacing the old CEO after just 2 years and bringing in a lady called Meg O'Neill. So she's coming from Australia's Woodside Energy. She's been there for 4 years, and before that she spent about 2 decades at Exxon in the US. So it marks quite a few firsts. She's the first female CEO across major oil companies. She's also BP's first outsider who's been appointed as their top boss. And she's being seen as, well, essentially BP's come under a lot of pressure in the past few years from activist investor Elliott. They're pushing for a huge turnaround and a focus on their core on oil and gas, which their previous CEO has been doing. He has kind of been pushing for a major reset, but analysts are saying that, you know, that there's room for more aggression, that there could be a lot more of an aggressive push towards this turnaround. And she's being seen as having quite what one analyst called a hands-on track record in engineering and operations. So it's signalling that focus will come to the fore, and it will be a real focus on oil and gas. So potentially some good news there, although shares aren't reacting too much, but did dip slightly. There's a bit of worry about, you know, that this could bring a bit of near-term turbulence before any kind of major push for towards that turnaround really happens and comes about. So there's a slight bit of transition risk, as people are saying. But yeah, a real big shake-up at BP, and you know, they also had a new chair in July, so it's a lot of change at the top, and you would think that Elliott would now be expecting a real change to happen.
Yeah, indeed. Shares just up by 0.5% for BP this morning in London, but so much going on, as you say, Louise. Let's turn to Whitbread next. Their shares up over 6%. What's going on? Yeah,
so Whitbread, the hotel operators, obviously they're the owner of Premier Inn, among other hotel chains. As you say, they're gaining this morning, the biggest gain on the FTSE 100. This is after a activist firm, so in a similar light to BP, an activist firm has accumulated just over a 6% stakes. This is Corvex Management, and they're calling for a review of Whitbread. In particular, Whitbread's laid out a 5-year £3.5 billion investment plan. They're calling for a strategic review of that, and they're saying that the current market price of Whitbread reflects a discount to their fundamental value, and they also want representation on Whitbread's board, so pushing for that change, which is sending shares higher, so potentially a bit of welcome news, or being welcomed by the market.
Okay, so that's, yeah, exactly, as we're seeing those shares higher this morning. You've also been looking at Rheinmetall after an update from the company.
Yeah, the shares a little change on the update, but obviously Rheinmetall is always one that's interesting to talk about and worth talking about. You look at their share rally over the past year, that it's rallied about 150%. So little change today, but still far higher than they were a year ago. They had a update, they adjusted their full year outlook, so they're now expecting higher sales and a higher operating margin. Analysts are saying, you know, this is quite reassuring. And alongside that update, Rheinmetall also said that they're aiming to divest one of their units. That's the remaining civil businesses, and negotiating with 2 bidders for their power systems unit. So a bit of change in terms of their business units, and adjusting the outlook higher on 2 counts. So seen as reassuring, but as I say, shares are not majorly changed, given this is not, you know, kind of a major boost to the stock that's already seen a lot of gains.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.